Jim Wagner here, your self-defense instructor. I'm up in the San Bernardino Mountains in Southern California, and the elevation is approximately 5,500 feet. Now, I've come up through here many times teaching wilderness survival courses, but I also had the opportunity on March 7th, 1996, to train with a Norwegian Commando survival expert, Lieutenant Feet. And of course, the Norwegians are experts at surviving in the wilderness, the Arctic Circle. And I learned a few things for him in surviving, and I'm going to share with you. Now, one of the first things you always want to do if you know you're going to be in cold weather is always layer up. Always have lots of layers of clothing. Now, when it's warm, like it was this afternoon, yeah, you could shed some layers and put it in your rucksack and march on. However, as it gets colder like it is now, the evening's approaching, the temperature is dropping rapidly, and in a few more couple hours, it's going to be probably 0 or below. So now I need all these clothing. I need the extra layers of clothing. That's why in my truck, for such emergencies, I always have extra clothing and even some other things to keep me warm. Now, one of the last things you want to do if you're out in the wilderness, no protection, perhaps you have no tent, and you've got to sleep on the ground, you'd never want to lay on the ground. If you lay on the ground out here, the ground is going to just take the heat all night. Your body temperature is going to drop, and you may even die from exposure. So I'm going to teach you a trick that I learned again from Norwegian Commandos that could help you out. In my hand, I have a spring suit. It's a wetsuit for surfing, and this one, it's been good to me for many years surfing, but I'm about to retire it because I ripped it during some training in the port of Los Angeles when I was boarding a ship by crawling on the rope, and I kind of burnt the front of it. Well, if you have a wetsuit that you're ready to retire, one of the great things you can do is cut squares out of it. Cut big squares out of it, because this is much easier than carrying around a military pad. Once you cut a square, you can fold it up, put it into a cargo pocket, put it in your rucksack. It's very small, and now it's going to serve the same purpose as a pad. And when you come to a situation where you've got to sleep upright, lay out that pad, and you're going to have insulation between you and the ground. So a wetsuit is a great piece of equipment. Cut a square, fold it up, and make it a part of your cold weather gear. Now I'm going to demonstrate and just show you how quick it is. So I pull out my neoprene, I unfold it, put it on the ground here the best I can, sit on it, fold my legs, get everything tucked in, fold my arms, hunch over, and here's my position where I'm going to sleep. Not the most comfortable, but when it comes to survival, this will keep me alive. Now in my hands I have a foam pad, and this comes from the German Army, and I bought this a few months ago when I was in Germany. I like it a lot better than an American pad where it all rolls up and it's kind of bulky and you gotta attach it to your rucksack, your Alice pack. But I like the German one because it folds up nice and it can fit in a backpack. Now mind you, that's only if you have a backpack, but let's say I have this. Now normally you would have a sleeping bag and you would fold this out and you would lay on it. And of course, having a layer between you and the ground is going to keep the heat in your body and not through convection taking it out through the ground. Now, if I want to go to sleep tonight, yeah, I could lay on this. This would be good. And but the problem is I'm going to lose a lot of heat. So one of the tricks you could use, perhaps you don't have a sleeping bag. Perhaps this is all you have, or perhaps this is a piece of wood, or it's a piece of cloth, or a seat from your car that you found, or whatever. It depends on the situation. Now, what you're going to do is sit it on the ground, and you're going to sit on it. Now this is a layer of protection between you and the ground. And again, this is the way I was taught by the Norwegians. You cross your ankles, I'm sitting, I have a layer between me and the ground through this foam pad, and you get your hands in your pocket, and once you have your hands in your pocket, you lean over, and you can fold your arms, you lean over, and this way the heat through your body is going to travel up. Now, you always want headgear because you're going to lose a lot of heat through your head. You got to wrap up your head. Got to keep that head warm. And although very uncomfortable, this is a position to sleep in, and you can do it. I've done it before in the Army, where I've slept. But this is the way you're going to maintain heat, especially when you got snow all around you, because once I lay down, that heat's going to start escaping more rapidly, and yet I can bundle up and maintain the heat. A piece of equipment that I always carry in my go bag is a space blanket. It is a thin sheet of metallic material that when wrapped around you can keep up to 90% of your body heat. And the great thing is it could fit in a t-shirt pocket, a cargo pocket, and you could even have several of them. And of course, if you anticipate ever being in cold weather or you're out at night one night, this is a great item to have. They also make cocoon ones that you can slip into like a sleeping bag. Now you need to find a dry part of ground, wrap yourself in this blanket, and keep yourself warm. The only way you're going to get good and remember all this is to actually go out and practice it once in a while. You don't need to go miles and miles or kilometers into the interior of a wilderness. You could practice this kind of stuff in the edge of a national park or open area. And of course, getting hands-on training is what it's all about. And if you run into an emergency, you're within walking distance of a gas station or a restaurant. Try it in small steps, play it safe. Until then, be a hard target.